black box we covered. Also, what is SDLC we covered. Okay, so these are the some phases are involved, and as a fresher, they will ask about complete definitely SDLC. What are the phases are involved in the SDLC process? Please explain the SDLC process, how the company follows this SDLC, and then they will ask you which SDLC model will follow in IT industry, or you have the work with the Agile or Scrum. So you can simply say, yeah, I work with the Agile and Scrum. So actually you have said that you are saying fresher level, so that I can give you the 3 month or three up to the 6 month of internship certificate, so that you can tell them I was working as an intern in Indian company. Okay, so I will give the 6 month of this internship certificate. So you can tell them I was working current as a QA engineer, as a manual. Okay. So these are the phases, and they will ask you in which process you involve. That is what Agile process, Agile methodology are using this current organization. Okay. How the project is come to the IT or software industry. They have also explained this one. So this is what development process, and this is what testing process, right? So I think this is completed now. Architectural diagram. Yeah, this completed. Yeah. Okay, so we started QA and testing. Is it completed? This one, BRS SRS model content, QA and testing approval scenario. This one, I think not completed, no? Yeah. Development team, integrating, retesting, regression testing, UAT testing, and then start with the SDLC models. I think I'm going to recover this one once again. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now, once we got the project management plan, the project management plan is written by the project manager. Then we are created some documentation, that is what SRS and FRS. Okay, sorry, BRS and then FRS. And after completion of BR and FRS, what is going to start here? So here having the development team, and here having the testing team. Okay, so in the development team, in the development side, what is going to be happen? So they are going to design the model, entire architecture of the application, entire architecture of this application. Okay, then simultaneously after the completion of the architecture design, they design the database design, entire database designing of the applications. Okay, architectural design. So you know the solution architecture, those who having the 15-year plus experience, so he's a become a solution architecture, and he can design the architecture for the entire application. And simultaneously, let's start with the database design from the back end. Okay, so database designing gets started. Okay, entire application. Then after that, UI design, user interface or user experience. For front end, you can say front end designing gets started. And after the front UI designing, then UML. So unified modeling language designing. Okay, unified modeling language. So unified modeling language, that is UML design, you can say. And for this one, I use the IBM rational rows. Okay, IBM rational rows software that uses, and that contain the use case diagram, class diagram, object diagram, sequence diagram, and activity diagram. So here for uses the developer for these diagrams, how the control will flow in each and every functionality of the software. So that is described in this diagram. Okay, so developer no need to call time to the customer or someone, so how it can be designed, how it can be used. Okay, what will the functional requirement, how it can be, so no problem, because we have the here EML diagram, and everything is concept is clear. Whether you are from the Japan, you are from the America, you are from the uh, Germany. Okay, but anyone this know the UL diagram. Okay, because this is unified. Okay, universal. So unified modeling language, anyone can understand this diagram, and according to the diagram, the developer or coder going to write the code according to these diagrams. Okay, because this is universal. Okay, universal same diagram. If you know this activity diagram, use case diagram, class diagram, and then the coder will understand these diagrams, and according to diagram coder will do this coding. Okay, so just one of the any diagram if I have that, I am going to show you any UML diagram. Okay, so I'm going to show you one activity diagram or class diagram, how it look like, one sample. Okay, so use cases. Okay, you know the use cases. Actually, the test scenario can be derived from the use cases. Okay, and test cases can be derived. Test cases are derived from user scenarios. Okay, they will ask the question: what is the difference between test case and test scenario? Okay, test cases can be designed from the test scenarios can be designed from the use cases, and test scenarios can be derived from the use cases, and test cases can be derived from the test scenarios. Okay, we can write the test cases from the test scenario. And how we can write the test scenario? We can write the test scenarios from the use cases. Okay, so these are use case diagram, activity diagram, sequence diagram, okay, collaboration diagram, class diagram. So there's documentation exists here that I'm going to show you some diagrams. Okay, this is use case diagram for user. Okay, one of the application, the user can do login, user can do delete the profile, user can do sign up, user can do something. Okay, enter the investment detail, user can change the password, user can purchase. So this is what use case diagram for the users. Okay, use case diagram for the administrator. Okay, these are the use case diagram, right? And according to this diagram the developer is going to write the code. Okay, so there is an activity diagram, then how the activity get performed by the user. Suppose this is a user, users can do login, user can do sign up, he can do the delete profile. Now let's go to the activity diagram. Activity means how this user can perform or how the actors can perform the activity. So here start and end. Okay. So this diagram can be made up from the IBM Rational Rows software tool. Okay, IBM Rational Row software tool. So system display the login page, then user or admin enter the name and password, then validate the password. If the password get fail, again system display the login page. If the password is get passed, then it will check the user type, if it's an admin or it's a user. If it's a user, then display the user home page, or if it's admin or it's display the admin home page. Okay, this diagram is known as activity diagram. Okay, so this is what activity diagram for login use case. Okay, activity diagram, and just have just some activity diagram, then can have just some class diagram. Okay, so this is what class diagram, just a class name, then contains the attributes. Okay, for the login form, what are the attributes? Enter the name and password, display the home page, display the error message. Okay, these are the fields: registration ID, login name, password, first name, middle name. These are, and this is known as a class diagram. Okay, so development team can create this one before the coding. Okay, that create every diagram before the coding. Okay, so because the developer team is going to create the model. Okay, so architecture designing, entire application, entire database design, UI diagram from front end and UL diagram. That is use case diagram, class diagram, object diagram, sequence diagram, active diagram. So this some diagrams we have already seen here. Okay, just to demo. And this is a class diagram, activity diagram we seen, sequence diagram, how the sequences get followed. Okay, as a tester, we are not aware as a tester, as a QA engineer. So you just have to know this one. Okay, but we are not going to refer this one, right? Just I am going to show you my project. Okay, this is what sequence diagram. So user fills the detail, then sign up. Okay, then validate. Okay, that everything as per this sequence. Okay, so developer get this document, according to the document developer write the code. Okay, and this documentation is also made up by the developers. So this is what basic flow of sequence diagram. Okay, but what sign up use case. Okay, use case. Then suppose we have the some UI, this is known as UI diagram, and it's having the some field, also description is there. Password data type is varchar, description current password of user. Okay, new password of varchar, data type for the database and new password for the users. Okay, that everything is available here. Okay, so this kind of the diagrams are developed. Okay, so simultaneously after the completion of this work, okay, after the completion of this documentation for designing, then the developer some involved in this coding. Okay, the some most experienced candidate work here for the documentation designing. Most experienced candidate work here. Okay, and for the coding, fresher and up to the 5 to 7 year experienced candidate involved here. Okay, so they write the code according to the documentation. So they will see all this documentation and they will write a code. Then the senior members do the code reviews. Okay, juniors write the code and senior review the code and then start the unit level testing and integration level testing. So unit level testing, it's a part of the white box testing. We'll do the code is running properly or not, executing properly or not within the module, single module or some line of code before sending to the QA team when they testing the our code. That is unit testing. So unit level testing is done. Then after the integrated, so unit level testing is done to check the code is running in the single module or not, and integration testing is there to change the data flow between the all this module. All these modules are integrated properly or not. So that is what integration level testing. So this is what the development team activities. Okay, and simultaneously here the tester also go for testing activity. Okay, this is what dev team work here, and QA team is also work simultaneously. Okay, simultaneously is work, right? So the tester, so means the QA team, the how the testers are involved. So first of all, the test plan will be created. So who will create the test plan? Who's created test plan?
uh, the not the QA team, the man, the business, the BRS, the BAs.
No, actually, we are in the QA team now. Okay, so this is
Oh,
dev.
oh,
This is development team
the lead,
activities.
the lead,
Yeah,
the
lead.
leads.
Yeah, good, very good, very good. Yes. So this is what QA team activities or the test plan. Okay. So test manager assign the test lead. Okay, TL, test lead. The test lead is responsible for creating the test plan. So this is interview question, right? Only the test plan will created by the test lead. And who will assign the test lead? Test manager. Simultaneously the activities is going to perform. So dev team is performing writing this documentations. Okay, and QA team is also involved writing the documentation. So that according to the VRS, so we're writing the test plan as per the requirement. So test lead is involved for creating the test plan. According to the test plan, then the test scenario is going to write. Okay, and always keep in your mind. So only according to documentation we write the test scenarios and test cases. Okay, without having the build, right? Without having the build, we write the test scenario and test cases. Means we don't have the any software, or you don't have the any application to view, to UI. You don't have the any UI to view. Okay, you have only just documentation. So according to the documentation, you have to write the test scenarios and you can write the test cases. So test scenarios can be derived from use cases. Okay, use case. So test scenarios, they can be derived from the use cases, and test cases are derived from the test scenarios. So already I have shown you the test cases, right? Test cases. Some test case. Okay, test case. Prepare the test case using the test case document. So with that, they write the first test cases. Okay. Sorry, use case. Sorry, use case. Sorry, use case. Okay. So use case name, that is login, writing, then registration. These are all our use case. Okay. According to the use case, they write the scenarios. Okay. First use case is login. So what is the scenario? Validate the functionality of validate the login functionality, or validate the functionality of login page. This is our scenario. Okay, how it can be derived from the, we are derived the test scenarios from the use case. And next use case, it's a sign up. Okay, next use case is a sign up. So how we can write the test scenario? Validate or verify the functionality of sign up page. Okay, or you can write validate or verify sign up functionality. This is scenario. So scenarios is derived from the use case. Okay, and now the sign up is validate or verify the functionality of sign up page. This is what scenario. And now according to the scenario, we have to write the test cases. So write the test cases for the sign up. So that is single line statement you can write to verify the first name, to verify all these fields are mandatory, to verify the username without entering this one, to validate username and password is both are valid. Okay, these are the test cases, right? So now they will create such a documentation. So first test plan, then this test scenarios. Test scenarios derived from the use cases, and test cases derived from the scenarios. And after that, writing the test cases, execution of the test cases. Okay, defect reporting, everything that can be performed. Okay, and now then integration testing is performed, then system testing, UAT testing, then do for the production and implementation, and then support and maintenance. So here the QA team, how it's work. Okay, let us see. So we have the BSR and SRS, BRS and SRS. According to the BRS and SRS, so development tip is work. The main team leader, or okay, main person, that is what solution architecture. Okay, so based on the approval of the SRS, software requirement specification document, and recently we have only the BRS and SRS. According to the SRS, so solution architecture or test technical lead will design the model of the project. Okay, so we have the SRS. According to the SRS, with solution architecture or technical lead will design the model of the project. Okay, then that project model contains the architecture designing, database designing, user interface designing, all UML diagrams. Architecture means entire architecture, entire flow of this application. Then database for the entire. So what will be the tables and what will be the relation? All this entire database is going to be designed. Okay. Then UI designing. Then UML diagrams will be designed. And after the completion of everything, that review and approval of the design document. once the development team is completed the design document, then development team is going to write the code. Okay, then development team is write to code and do for the uh, unit testing and integration testing. And now in the simultaneously, the what QA and testing team will do, the test manager of, okay, the test manager. So the test lead is a test manager of the test lead. Okay, that is assigned by the test manager. Okay, test lead shall study the approval of SRS and prepare the test plan for the project based on the project management plan. Okay, based on the project management plan, and project management plan is designed from the project manager. So according to the project manager, according to the SRS and related documentations for the project, so they are going to prepare the test plan. Okay, and this test plan is very important document for the QA members, all QA member, because we are involved, we are going to test the entire application according to the test plan only. So definitely 100% the interviewer can ask you about the test plan. Okay, who will create the test plan and what are the contents are available in the text plan. Okay, what contents in the text plan, they will definitely ask you. Okay, as a fresher level, just know what is the test plan and everything, but at the experience level they can detail ask you about the test plan. Okay, and after the review and approval of the test plan, so based on the approval of the SRS and design document, the test engineers are going to identify the required test scenarios for the project. Okay, so once the test plan is approval and review, okay, so SRS and designing documents, so based on that one we are going to write the test scenarios for the project. Then review and approval of the test scenarios. So it's when it's approval the test scenarios, once is approval, then the test engineer are going to prepare the test case documentations, okay, to identify the all scenarios based on the FRS document. Okay, for writing the test cases I can go for the FRS document, because they have clearly explained the functionality of the each and every functional requirement are there. Okay, and once review and approval of the test cases. Okay, then it's a review and approval of the test case. Okay, then after the complete test cases approval, then the actual testing we do. Okay, that is what execution of the test cases we started. Okay, we start for the execution of the test cases and defect identification and reporting. So again we are going to explain this one in the STLC process, that is what software testing life cycle. Okay, it's just a basic overview how the testers are involved and how the developers are involved. Okay, development team is worked like this way, and testing team is involved for testing, creating the documentation, test plan, test scenario, test cases. Okay, and then writing for the execution of the test cases and actual testing is done. Okay, so here the development team and the tester team work. Okay, so development team are going to convert the logic specified in design document programs as per chosen the programming language. So now the documentation is completed, designing, and now developer are ready to write the code. But which programming language they use for writing the code? So as per the requirement, as they have chosen that one. So suppose they have selected the Java, so they will write the code in the Java and they will release the code. Then perform the code review. Once particular unit of the code as reviewed and approved, perform the unit testing. Okay, so developer write a code and then senior is review the code. Once it is reviewed, and then go for the unit testing. Okay, already the unit testing is done by the developer, and once unit testing is done, then ready for sending the QA team. Okay, then it's sent to the QA team, and once unit testing is approval, the developer will integrate the units and release the build for the testing. Okay, okay, before that unit testing they are going to integrate it also. Okay, so developer write the code, that is unit code. Okay, unit 1, then again developer writes the unit 2, other developer. Okay, so once is write the code, The senior person is review. Okay, this is what review by the senior person. This is also review by the senior person. And once it is reviewed, they are going to integrate the code. Okay, unit code they are integrating. Once it is integrated, okay, and that's release the build for the testing for the QA. Okay, so it's perform the code writing, unit writing, then unit testing, then review, and then they are integrating and ready for sending to the QA team for the further testing. So here the smoke testing and sanity testing will start from the QA team. Okay, so perform the code review. Once the particular unit of code is reviewed and approved, then perform the unit testing for the single code. And once the unit testing is approved, the developers will integrate the units and release the build for the testing. So build means piece of software, piece of code. Okay, piece of the software that is known as the build. Okay, do you know the build? Yes,
No.
you don't know build. Okay, so let's understand what is build. Builds is the code. It's a software. Okay, let's say I'm going to show you one NetBean. It's a piece of software. It's not a completely software. Build means it's a piece of software. So developer write a unit code. Unit code means they can write a 10 to 15 lines of code. Unit. Then again they can write. They will write a 10 to 15 lines of code. Okay, you can say this is unit code. Okay, let's see. Build means what? A piece of software. Actually, they are not going to write the entire code and they are not going to say the entire code and then for the test they perform the some small part of the code writing. Okay, small part, write this code. Yeah.
What's the purpose of build?
Build is nothing but the software. Okay, so I will explain. Don't worry, wait. Once we got the project and we start the developing the project, okay, the product or application, right? So at a time, the developer is not going to code entire application, right? They will create some modules. For example, first they will create a login form, right? This is one build. You can say the build version is one, right? So in the next week, they are going to propose to create a registration form. Next page, that is what a registration form. Okay, this is also the build. So login form is we can given the build version 1 and next week the next week they are preparing the registration form, right? So now we are giving the version 2, so this is known as build 1, build 2. Okay, and they are integrated. Okay, next week they are trying to implement the functionality of purchase module. Okay, and they are integrated, so the code is added into the uh, part, okay, into that software, and that part is known as build. Okay, that software is known as the build. Okay, so we can say this is what build. We can say this is admin.jsp page. Okay, first of all the developer is written this coding. Okay, this coding is written for first page, admin page. Then the coding is written for the book page, and you can say this is the build. Okay, this is build, and you have to build is coding, means a piece of software. It's not a complete software, it's a piece part of the software. And later after the 2 weeks they have, see here, these are the lot of pages are here. First page is index page. Okay, this is index page. And next about us, these are the pages. This is code. So developer first of all share with you the some few pages, that is index page, user page, and admin page. Okay, admin page only share with you these pages, only three, 1 2 3, that's it. So this is, we can say, the build one. Okay, later they are going to add a new functionality to the build, means this software. Okay, so we will get a next build. So later you are getting the build is nothing but the software. So now you will get like such a build and you have to deploy in your local system. Okay, you have to do the setup in the local system like this way. Okay, you have to use, if there is a Java, they use the Netwin or Spring Boot. Okay, they will provide you everything, documentation and everything, how we are going to download the build and how we are going to integrate deploy in your local machine, right? They will provide everything documentation. Okay, and now we are going to execute the build. Okay, so I'm going to execute the build, that is run, and the home page will be displayed, and you can say the build is running successfully. Okay, let us wait for the few seconds. It's going to launch the application. This is a bookstore application. Here is running. Okay, server gets started. So they will share you, they will not share you the entire application. They will share you what they did. Okay, they have completed the registration form, they will share with you. So we can say this is the build. Yeah, it's a software. Now you can say this is local port 8084. So running on the local machine. So you daily have to download the build from the GitHub or any server, and you have to deploy in our local machine, and you have to open that application, and you can do for the smoke testing, sanity testing, okay, and regression testing. So this is what build. Okay, you can say the build we downloaded and we have deployed the build so that you can view the build. Okay, now this is going to become an application. Okay, and these are the pages, admin page. Okay, now you have to test this functionality. Okay, and in the next build, okay, means in the next code you will add some additional modules here. Okay, developer can add here the additional modules. Okay, about us, so something. Okay, so every week or every cycle iterations, they will have the existing build with additional features. We have to test that one. Okay, so this is process, but build is nothing but the software. So we have the build, means a piece of software, piece of software. Okay, these are code in the zip file or rar file they will share with you, and you have to deploy that one, and then you have to execute, and you have to check the test the code. Okay, this can be done after the completion of writing the test scenario and test cases. After writing the test scenario and test cases, then we can uh, yeah, we got the build, we'll get the build, and we have to deploy the build, and then we have to test the uh, build as per the test cases that is we have written already. So as per the requirement you have to check that one. Okay, we have to test that one. So build is nothing but the piece of softwares. Okay, so this is what completely e-commerce software. So the softwares are get divided into the modules, and that each module developer is written by the code, and that each modules of the code we can say that is build. Okay, every module of the build you can say every modules of the code. Okay, every modules of the software you can say the build. Okay, yeah, so you understand bit now.
Yes, yes. Software.
Okay, yeah,
But
yes, correct. uh okay, you want take the one example, just it's not for the interview, okay, only for understanding. So to make the home, to build a home, so some we can't directly build a home. Okay, so we have to some plan, architecturer can design the architecture of that home, right? First is design the architecture, that is what architecture designing in software. Okay, documentation. After documentation they start a foundation. Okay, work in the foundation, then foundation, and then we'll start the actual development. Okay, so that foundation, then they build one room, then another room, then next room. Okay, means one hall, then kitchen, then bedroom. So we can say this is one build, second build, third build. Okay, they can't at, yeah, so at a time they are not going to build everything step by step. Then first floor, then second floor, then this. The each floor is known as the build version 1, build version 2, build version 3. Okay, software, we can say this is software. So like a software, if you want to build a software, a complete software, they can divide into the modules, and every modules, for the every module developer write a code for the every modules, and that code is known as build. Okay, and that is code is for the every module is executable for every module. Simply they can write a code for the registration form, that is one build, you can say. Simply developer write a code for the login form, that is also the one build. Okay, so build is nothing but a piece of softwares, piece of the application, piece of softwares. I hope now you got a clear idea about the build. Okay, yes, it's clear now. Build means just a piece of softwares, and every time we are going to use the word build now. Okay, so once the unit testing is approved by developer, so we'll integrate the units and release the build. Okay, so now this is one code is written for the login and registration form and merge, and you can say this is build. Okay, this is build, and this is integrated in the zip file or in a rar file. Okay, and they share with you. Okay, they share with you, and the testers QA team install, download and install the environment setup. We'll do the environment setup. If the code is written in the Java, so we have to use the Spring Boot. Okay, Spring, STS. Okay, or NetBean. If it is in the PHP, then use the PHP My Admin software, the environment setup, and then we are going to test the this one. Okay, application. So we'll release the build for the testing. Okay, means we are getting the software every time for testing. Okay, piece of softwares. Then QA team and testing perform the integration testing. Okay, once integration testing is approved, then perform the system testing. Okay, then actual testing will start, that is retesting and regression testing. Okay, retesting means re-executing the same test case. Okay, to check whether the bug is fixed or not. Okay, retesting. Okay, re-execute the same test case to check whether the bug is fixed or not. And regression testing means we are going to check whether the bug is fixed or not, and it should not be impact in the other functionality of the application. Regression testing means we are going to check the impact of that bug fixes in other. Okay, in other. So everything is we are going to see in the details. Don't worry about this one. Okay, what is retesting and what is regression? As a QA engineer, daily we have to do this one, retesting and regression testing. Okay, and development team, developer are going to fix the defect reported by the testing teams. Okay, developers write the code, then deploy to the tester. Testers are involving the testing, and they are going to do the retesting and regression testing. And once they get the defect, okay, they are that is defect is assigned to the developer, and developer is going to fix the defect. Okay, once the system testing is approved, then application will be released to the UAT, user acceptance testing. Okay, so UAT, user acceptance testing, is done by the end user, developer, tester, those having the domain knowledge. Also having the two types of the testing, that is alpha and beta testing. Okay, so it's perform the UAT testing. Once UAT testing is approval, then application is ready for the production. Okay, once the production is ready, let's perform the installation testing to the server. Okay, once installation testing is approved, then implement the developer software into the customer environment and provide a user training. So this the process is involved, entire process. Okay, UAT testing is very important. At the end, of the every testing, will perform the acceptance testing. The end user will do, and then it will be released for the production. Then it is ready for the installation. Once it is ready, then go for the installation to the client or customer environment, and then we'll provide a training how to use our application. The customer provide a training how to use the application, that is user manual. Okay, once any product is get released, so they will provide you the user manual, user guide. Okay, if you purchase the refrigerator, they will provide you the user guide. If you purchase the TV, they will provide a user guide. Okay, everything is available. So they can provide user manual or user training for them to how to access this application. So, and after that, just provide the technical support to the customer if having any problem or issue in future enhancement. Okay, so this entire process is work here. This is development team, this is QA team. Okay, so it's perform the test plan. Test lead is perform, create a test plan. Then according to test plan, documentation, SRS documentation, write the test and FRS documentation, write the scenarios and test cases derived from the test scenarios derived from the use cases. Okay, use cases, that is derived from the use cases. Test cases derived from the test scenarios, then execution of test cases, then integration testing, system testing, acceptance testing, and production, then support and maintenance. So this is completely process involved in the QA team. Okay. uh, okay, so the actual work is what? Developer write a code and send to the QA team. Okay, that is what build version 1. This is build 1. Okay, and then software QA team download this RAR file or WinZip file to their local machine. Once get downloaded, then they are going to do environment setup. Okay, environment setup. Once environment setup is ready, then this build is ready to view. Okay, so the application is get open here. So once application get is open, then the QA team is perform the testing here. Okay, while doing the testing, if any defect is occur, so it is reported by the QA team to the developer. So developer is going to fix that defect, and the QA team check whether the defect is fixed or not. That is known as retesting. That is known as retesting. Okay, and is there impact of the bug fixes in other functionality? That is known as regression testing. Okay, impact of the bug fixes in other functionality, that is known as regression testing. So this continuously cycle is performed in the testing. Okay, so this will clearly we'll see in the upcoming sessions. Okay, so right now you a little bit understand but not understand the clearly about the retesting and regression testing. Okay, so this will be we are going to cover in the next session, don't worry. Okay, it's just a process how the developer team, how the dev team and how the QA team is work. Okay, how the build come to the QA team. Build means piece of software. Okay, how that come we just explain here. So we can say this is build. Okay, and I'm showing you something on the desktop here. Okay, see, this is the build. Okay, you know, okay, this is build. Okay, this is code. Okay, this is build. This contain the build library, SRS, web folder. Okay, these are the pages. Java pages are here. Okay, this is build. So we'll get in the WinZip format, zip file or RAR file. Then you are going to extract that one, and you have to set up the environment, and you have to deploy this one and show that you can view the project. Okay, so that you can view the project. Okay, so like this is what project. Okay, you can say this is complete build. RAR file. Okay, when RAR file you'll get, and you have to extract that one, you have to deploy one. Okay, so this is what build, you can say. Build is complete piece of software. So, okay, so every build, and once it is completed the application, then you can say that this is the entire build. Okay, complete build means we have the complete application now, because they are not going to develop at a time each and everything. Okay, so they develop the step by step, one page, second page, third page, and then they are going to integrate all the pages. Okay, they one two pages they have developed by the developer, so it's integrated and share with you for the testing the two pages. And next build they will add third page. Okay, in the next page, next build they can add two more pages, means a code. Okay, next build they can have the more functionality. Like this way every build will get an additional features and additional functionality. Every build will get the additional functions. So at the end you will get the entire application. At the end you will get the entire application. Okay, so here the SRS documentation, software requirement specification. According to the SRS, the developer write a code. Okay, and use case diagram, they follow the activity diagram, each and every diagrams. Okay, so this every diagram, every document, they maintain the versions. Okay, so document ID, version number, this is v1.c. So like that one, for the every documentation, is there any requirement change and the requirement is get added, so here they are going to write here version something. In every next version the new requirement get added. Okay, or deleted or added, updated. Okay, so they are maintaining the versions here. So like a documentation, the developer is also maintain the build version. Okay, can say the build version 1, build version 2. Okay, it's having the login functionality, build version 2, login plus registration, build version 3, login registration purchase, build version 4, login registration, uh, purchase and sell. Okay, every build. So build 1, build 1, build 2. So build is nothing but a software. Like this way they have maintained the build. Okay, everything they are maintaining. Okay, so after that one, the build is ready for the productions. Okay, and that get the customer support and everything. Okay, this activities is going to be performed. QA team, user acceptance testing, installation, developer software into the environment, for providing the user trainings also, and any technical support is required, then they are going to provide. Okay, so this is one small process how the project is come to the IT industry, software industry, how to assign the project, how to assign the project management, project manager. After the assigning of the project manager, he is ready to create project management plan. After creation of the project management plan, then FRS, SRS and BRS and SRS is ready. Then after completion of BRS and SRS, the dev team is involved for the development activities, QA team is involved for the QA activities, development team, the solution architecture, create the architecture designing, entire architecture, then database designing, then yeah, activity diagram, UA design and everything, and then do the coding and unit testing. Simultaneously, QA team, the test lead is responsible for creating the test plan. According to the test plan, then write the test scenarios, means SRS and BRS and FRS documentation. From the use cases, write the test scenario. After the test scenario, write the test cases. Okay, then execute the test cases, then uh, execution test cases. While execution the test cases, if the defect is found, then report the defect to the developer, then developer fix the defect. Okay, and again the tester is going to check whether the defect is fixed by the developer or not, so that is known as the retesting. And again the any bug fixes is impact on the other functionality, that is we are going to check, that is known as regression testing. Okay, this kind of the test is known as regression testing. Okay, so retesting matlab means we are going to re-executing the same test case. That is what retesting, to check whether the bug is fixed or not. Regression testing means we are going to check the bug is fixed or not, and it's not should be impact in the other functionality of the application. So impact of the bug fixes we are going to check. That is known as regression kind of the testing. Yes, are you sure about the, are you clear about the retesting and regression? Hi, hello. Hi, Slim. Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, can I explain again for the retesting or regression?
No, no, it's good. It's good.
Okay. Okay.
We
So,
te- we
yeah,
testing just to check again, and
yeah,
regression to check, and that it's okay, and it's not impacting the rest of the system.
application. Yeah, you are good. Yeah, you understand easily. Yeah, yeah. So we have the detailed knowledge about our the regression testing also, because they have unit regression, then regional regression, and full regression. We'll see later everything. Okay, testing concept is not started yet. Okay, so we'll see retesting and everything practically. Don't worry. We just understanding the concept. If you know the concept clearly, so we can easily understand. We can easily give the proper answer in the interview. And now this is SDLC models. Okay, what are the some SDLC models? So definitely, interviewer can ask you what is SDLC. So what are the phases are involved in the SDLC? We can simply say SDLC software development life cycle, which is used to develop the software in the IT industry by using this process. So in the SDLC model, which for having the some phases: requirement analysis, designing, coding, testing, okay, maintenance and implementations. Right? These are the phases, right? And the some models which follows the IT industry, that is waterfall, incremental, prototype, spiral, RD, okay, V model and agile model. So you can simply say I have worked with the agile model. Okay, I know the waterfall model, I know the all this model, but you can simply say I have worked as an intern in agile model. Okay, with agile. So that organization is following the agile model. Okay, agile scrum, because nowadays they are 90% company use the agile scrum process. Okay, we only know the agile, you can say we are following the agile. Okay, but you can say I know the waterfall, I know this one, I know this one, but I have worked with this one. I know the complete knowledge of agile process. Okay, so now what are the SDLC models? Waterfall, incremental model, prototype model, spiral model, RD model, V model and agile model. Agile is new. Okay, because they're having the some issues in the other models, so now the agile models are everyone using. Okay, and most of the industry are using the hybrid one. Okay, hybrid model, sometimes agile, sometimes waterfall, like this way. And how it is suitable, that is depend upon the project. Okay, so now let us see the first SDLC model, that is waterfall model. It's a traditional model. Traditional. Okay, completely traditional model. You know, in the waterfall model, we have the some phases, the same phases: analysis, designing, coding, testing. Okay, these four phases are very important in SDLC model: analysis, designing, coding, and testing. Four phases are very important. Okay, so in waterfall model, how it will work? Okay, so this is traditional model. So in this, what the project is modeled in sequential manner. Okay, how the project is managed in sequence manner. So SDLC phases will be accomplished in linear fashion, that is one after another. Once the first phase is completed, then we'll start with the second phase. Then the second phase is completed, then we go for the next phase. We can't directly jump from one to skip the other pages and we can jump from the next page. Okay, so we have the phases. What are the SDLC phases? Analysis or requirement, analysis, okay, designing, coding and testing. Okay, so we have to complete first requirement phase, then go for the analysis phase. Okay, we can't start analysis without completion of requirement. Okay, we can't go for designing without complete of the analysis. Okay, once we complete the analysis, then we go for the designing. Once we complete the designing phase, then we go for the testing. So as we have the requirement analysis, we can't go for directly coding. Okay, so it's a linear fashion. Okay, see here, so requirement means analysis phase. So first it's a linear sequential model. Requirement, gather the all this requirement. So BA business analyst is responsible for gathering the requirement. So suppose one phase, this requirement phase is completed, so we do here the analysis, then go for the designing phase. Okay, and once we go for the designing phase, and here the requirement is not allowed to change. Here requirement is not allowed to change. This is the fixed requirement. Means we have the fixed requirement, then we go for this waterfall model. Okay, it's completely different. Okay, so completely closed requirement is surely defined. It's not going to be changed later. If it is going to be changed later, then we have to follow the same every phases, and it the every phases require the multiple time. It's costly process again. So the requirement is gather and everything. Once this phase is completed, then we go for the next phase, that is designing phase. In the designing phase, we are going to design the all documentation, architecture designing, okay, database designing, UML diagram, UI designing, everything. Once the designing phase is completed, then we go for the implementation. Implementation is nothing but the coding. Okay, we go for the coding or means implement this designing. Okay, after this phase means if you are the requirement, we can't jump directly implementation. We can't jump. Okay, we go for the designing, and this if this is review and sign up. Okay, then we go for the implementation, and then the coding is get sign up and review and sign up. Then go for the verification. Verification means testing phase. Okay, that is testing phase. And once it is the sign up, review and sign up, then go for the maintenance. So the one step is completed, then we start the next step. Then second, next stage is completed, next stage. Okay, we can't go directly. So this is one activity. One activity can't be stated until the previous activity is completed. Okay, so we go for one after another. So for example, so testing can't be started until the all previous pages are finished. Okay, we can't start the testing here. Okay, we have the requirement. Suppose we have the requirement, so we can't start the testing here. Means verification we can't. This is waterfall model. Means QA team is involved at the end of the coding. Okay, QA team is involved at the end of the coding, right? In the waterfall model. Okay, this is disadvantage, right? And also you can see here the development activities carried out sequentially. Okay, and review and approval of the each phase's output. Model does not permit going back and forth. Okay, see here, back and forth is not available. If your designing is completed, okay, right? So once the requirement is completed, then you go for the designing. Once the design is completed, then implementation. Okay, we can't go here directly from requirement to maintenance or maintenance to requirement. Okay, we can't skip from designing, we can't start from the designing to verification. Okay, we can't do like this one. First gather the requirement. When the requirement is fixed, then go for the designing. Then designing is fixed, okay, means review and sign up, then go for the implementation, means coding. Okay, once the development coding is done, then go for the testing. So Once the first is phase completed, then we go for the next phase, and no going back and forth. Okay, no backward and forward here. Okay, and if any defect is found during this one, okay, now go back to the originating phase and start traversing the sequential all over again. This is the disadvantage of the waterfall. Okay, and during this one, now you can say, now consider the one example. Okay, you are developing the e-commerce application, and that application having 2 year of the schedule for development. Okay, because we are delivering this e-commerce application to the client after the 2 year. Okay, this is our schedule, and now in this 2 year we are performing the 4 month for the requirement. Okay, right, 4 to 5 months for designing. For coding, we take here 1 year, and for verification means testing, we take here just 3 to 4 months. Okay, here I am going to increment for designing. Okay, 5 to 6 months, and after that the 2 years will get completed, so the project will deliver to the client. Okay, means client environment after 2 year. And now, so requirement for the requirement gathering for the 4 months, so it's gather this requirement, that may be the 4 months or 3 months or 5 months. And now this completely the phase is completed, so the BA having the another work. Okay, so BA will go there. Now BA is not, BA team is not available. Okay, they will work in the next other project. So here the requirement phase is completed, so we have the fixed documentation. And now according to documentation, the designing gets started. So development team involved to design all this documentation, they will taking the 5 to 6 month process for completion of their designing documentations. Okay, that is UA design, architecture design, UML diagram, UI diagram, database diagram, and everything. And once the documentation is completed and sign up and review, then the coder actually start the coding, that is implementation. So it will take the 1 year for the coding, for designing the entire application. Okay, now the coding is completed, and now the these developers are still available because they are to check is any mistake or any defect are there, we are checking. So now the QA team is taking the so much time for finding the defects, and they found a multiple defect, that is a 10 to 20 defects. Okay, so we can't go verification to the implementation right here. So, and if the defect is found, then we are reporting the defect, we need to follow the requirement, get changed once again. Okay, again the requirement is get changed as per the defect found, right? So we need to follow the all this thing, then requirement, designing, implementation, then verification. So this is disadvantage. Okay, every stages we need to follow if there is any defect is found. So is any defect found, then go back to the origin phase and start traversing sequentially all over again. Okay, this is what in the waterfall model. We need to follow everything. You can see, then waterfall model is suitable for what project? So requirement are clearly defined, small and middle term duration. Okay, this is not good for the more than 3 to 5 years project. Okay, you know the customer requirement can be changed. You know, in every app we're having the update after the 3 or 5 months, so that the customer also need to want to keep update their application. For example, Amazon, they will have the sale. Okay, they can write their they can display the sale, right? They have the periodically updates additional features. So requirement is get changed, right? And nowadays requirement are changed by the one by month or day by day. So that's why this waterfall model is not work for this one. If your requirement is completely fixed and clear and not going to be changed later, then you can go for the waterfall model. Okay, but this waterfall model is not suitable for long duration. Okay, small duration it's okay, because we need to follow the entire cycle: analysis, designing, coding, testing, entire cycle we need to follow. And this, for following the entire cycle, If your project duration is 1 year, so for following this entire cycle, it's like the 1 year. And is there any defect and requirement get changed? Again, we need to follow for the same environment. Again, it's taking the some process, that is analysis, designing, coding, testing. Okay, this thing, right? Again and again, we need to follow this one. For the small duration, it will be okay, but long duration, it is not suitable. And it's a stable technology. Okay, the familiar with the domain and development environment, because only the stable technology can be used. It's a Java, then Java. Okay, it's a PHP, then PHP. Okay, like this way. What are the advantages for the waterfall model? Here the project is under the control. Why? Project is under the control, but why? How? Yes, how we can say the project is under the control?
Project under the control.
uh, yes, how we can say it's a project under the control means, according to the what?
Yeah, FRS.
Yes,
Business
yes,
requirement.
yes, yes, yes. That is documentation, correct. Because we have the perfect documentation, right? Perfect. Because this documentation requirement is not going to be changed. That's why we are using waterfall now. The requirement is not going to be changed. Okay. As per the requirement, you are working. That's it. That is project under the control. And you are not allowed to change the requirement. Okay. If your requirement gets changed, the entire cycle we need to follow once again. Okay. And predefined outputs of the every phases. Okay. Every phase have the predefined output. Tracking changes is also easy, because what the mistake is did, we need to easily identify, because in the requirement phases is mistake is did, so you can say we only go for the requirement phase. Okay, if there is a mistake is done in the coding test, the only we need to check the coding stage. Okay, we can track changes easily. Then early identification of slippage, if any. So here is one advantages. So easily we can find a bug. Okay, we can identify any slippages or bugs. Okay, we can easily identify, because this is waterfall model, so we can really understand what kind of the bugs or defect can be occur, and what kind of the risk, and how we are going to uh, mitigate that things. Okay, so we'll really identify that one. So disadvantages in real life. Okay, the customer requirement do changes. The customer appraisal of this complete work are not feasible always. Okay, in real life, the customer requirement always change. So that's why it's a disadvantage. And if you want to change a requirement, so completely work we need to follow. Okay, and phases cannot run concurrently. This is also disadvantages. Means the developer is developing the application, and the QA team is not going to test that concurrently. Okay, so when the QA is involved, when the developer activities is done, then the QA will be involved. Okay, it's not work concurrently. Okay, concurrently it's not work. Okay, this is disadvantage, but in agile everything is followed. Okay, in agile process, requirement get changed. Okay, allow to change the requirement easily, and developer and tester are involved concurrently. Okay, this is about what waterfall model. So main important point about the waterfall model, it's a linear sequence model. And in the waterfall model, one we can't move to the jump to the other stage, so it is completely complete the first stage, then we go for the next stage. Okay, and this waterfall is suitable for small term process, for small term project. It's not suitable for long term. Okay, if any defect is found, then we need to follow the entire cycle. Okay, we need to go for the entire cycle. Okay, we need to follow that everything. Okay. Uh, Development activities carried out sequentially. Okay, review and approval of this phase. So Yeah. So can you just brief about waterfall model? Short, in short.
Huh?
Yes. Can you just brief about the waterfall model? Is
Okay,
yeah. What you understand about the waterfall model?
I did understand, but then it's difficult to use work forward because you cannot go back
Hmm. Yeah.
and, it's not concurrent. And for instance, like use working, you cannot use something.
Hmm.
Another thing is that waterfall model you cannot do have the testers until development is done first. Then then you have testers.
Yes. Good. So they will ask you what is the difference between the waterfall and agile process. Okay, once we complete the agile, then you will definitely able to say the answer. So in, can say the waterfall model is a traditional model. It's a first model in IT industry. Okay, it's a first model. It's a old model. It's very old. It's a traditional model, you can say. It's a old model, and here the activity is performed one by one. Okay, means we can't jump to the next stage. So for example, testing cannot be stated until the previous phases are finished. One after another phases we need to go. Okay, and this model does not permit to going back and forth also. Okay, going back forth, it's not possible. Okay, if you found any defect, we need to go for the originating phase and start traversing sequentially all over again. Okay, and this is suitable for whenever the fixed requirement are there, then you can go for this one. And small and medium term duration is not for the long duration. Okay, and here having the stable technology you can to use. So for example, the build the software is developed by using the PHP technology. Okay,